pros and cons, pluses and minuses. This is what we got from John Burns.
Open mind.
Now, that's kind of false advertising, because I didn't hear a word about pros or the pluses of wind farm. And there wasn't anybody on that panel, Al Graham, Steve Trude, and the gal from Wolf Island. None of them were pro. So that's false advertising. If nothing else, it's unethical. And you guys call us unethical. Okay? That's the one thing. Marty asked at our last meeting, when you handed us this, who the people were going to be on that panel? Nobody knew. Nobody would tell us. Now that was 5 days, 6 days before the forum, and you didn't know who it was? You know, and I know why you didn't tell us, because it was so easy for Joe and I to find 8, 10 people, all pro, that would be here for that night. One speaker is that Hal Graham. Now, he's a town justice down there. And if he reads his rules and regulations and laws for being a town justice, probably illegal for him to pick sides on any issue like that. And, now, if nothing else, it's probably unethical for him to do that. Now, Hal said that night that he has a wind tower close to his residence, his house. And it was unbearable. It would rattle the windows. It would be 100 decibels. And I'm not calling anybody liars or anything, don't get me wrong here. But what we found out was this guy wasn't going to get a wind turbine on his property. So he moved it. He signed a variance or whatever to have it moved onto his property. So instead of the 1,500-foot setback, it's 800-foot setback from his property. That wasn't reported that night. I don't know why.
This quote guys from his house.
From his house, yeah, residence. From his house. The other thing is, he didn't report that he got any money. They asked him with a question and answer, did you get any money yet from the wind turbine? He said, nope, not a cent. Well, he didn't say that he was getting it in 2 weeks, like all the other residents down there got their money in 2 weeks. He didn't happen to mention that. And he also didn't happen to mention that the company's in there insulating the turbine, changing the gears, doing anything they can to fix the problem. You know, all this stuff, they reported on their stuff, but they didn't report all the truths. As Joe said, we talked to 8, 10 people down there. And one of the panel, it was either Hal Graham or Steve Trude, reported that cows were getting sick, or not sick, but they were down on milk. Horses had lost their babies, and I think the figure was like 45 horses lost their babies in the area because of wind turbines. Dog got sick, they blamed it on the turbine. And this poor 9-year-old boy got a skin disorder as soon as the wind turbines went up. That's how it was reported. A lot of you people were there and know that. And so these 8, 10 people, I asked every one of them, did you hear any of that stuff? No, didn't hear any of it. Now, some of these are town officials. And I would think that if you guys had a problem with something, you're coming here first, and they'd have heard it, right? They didn't hear any of them problems. They also said that they give tours down there, and the Steve Trude, I believe, said that when they give tours, the windmill company feathers back the blades so they're not noisy. Well, I talked to the guy that gives the tours. He says, they don't even know when I'm giving tours most of the time. So how can they feather back the blades? And this was another one that I caught him at. If you watch your film that you taped that night, you'd see it. Steve Trude, they were asked, well, they all spoke for half an hour first. And he spoke and said that they didn't get in, the town hadn't gotten any money. No money from this year. But then when they had the question and answer period, one of the questions was, how much money have you saved on your taxes? Steve Trude said $30. Al Graham said $100. Well, you can't have it both ways. You either save money on that or you didn't because of wind turbines. So I checked what the town did get.